Brothers Harrison and Connor.
Brothers, Historian, and Connor.
Boy, oh boy, another interwar film. Something I sure can't get enough of, eh?
I am. I'm done with them. I want to move on. Let's go find some other films to talk about. Because this is getting boring for me. I think I'm ready to create bingo cards for the next time we do this. That way I can have like a bunch of bingo cards in that way. Every time we can just have a bunch of them just circulating around.
That is a good idea, Connor. Maybe when we finally get enough subscribers and monetize, we can have merch stores. Get your bingo cards down below.
I'm just imagining Connor walking through the Criterion closet, or they always have to stop and go, ooh, this one, ooh. Connor just walks through and goes, I'm good. I don't want any of this crap.
I'm just tired of the interwar period because this is so monotonous that we've done this so many times. I play Hearthstone 4 and know the late interwar like the back of my hand. It's the same damn thing every single time until you get to the war. Then everything goes to hell and you're fighting everyone.
On that note, witness an incredible vision of the future from sci-fi master H.G. Wells in Things to Come, a film about how war is bad and unchecked technological progress is scary. You know what's even scarier? That Wells predicted in the future everyone would be dressed in plastic Halloween costumes, and somehow modern fashion is even stupider. Wells thought it would be a gas that turned us into zombies, when instead it's just skibbity toilet and smartphones. Hey, do you guys remember when a government listening device in your house was the scariest part of 1984? Hey Siri, do you remember that?
That's normal today. Oh, please, that's like a normal everyday thing. We get listened to everywhere, in which the FBI listens to you, the NSA, CIA. You carry your local tracking device everywhere you go, so be careful and be on the lookout.
Such an insidious device, these phones, yet at the same time, we are hopelessly addicted to it, because it has all our contact information, all our social media, and our ability to snap stupid cat videos. Not me, I don't take cat videos, I'm allergic. Deaf to cats. But, yes, they do listen to us.
Not for the first time in my life, and certainly not the last, I will say. On the note of listening devices, thank God I'm not British. Anyway, gentlemen, Things to Come. H.G. Wells wrote the book and the screenplay. He was a great big highfalutin star back then. I don't know if there's even a modern equivalent for what that would be. Stephen King, Danielle Steele, J.K. Rowling maybe, I don't know. He was that back then.
Why not J.K. Rowling?
Yeah.
Because of all the things, all of her beliefs.
She's a little spicy these days, that's true.
But she writes good books for Harry Potter.
I've never watched any of the movies. I got scared. I did not want to watch them.
You scared of Fluffy, the three-headed dog? That's what did it for me in the first movie.
No, I think it was like this weird maze scene or something. I don't know. That turned me off from the whole thing.
I guess you guys were that age where they would have been scary for you. That's kind of interesting to me because I was 20, I think, when the first one came out. So it was just a fun fantasy to me. I wasn't of the age to where it would be like frightening. You know what I mean? Like
I was about 9 or 8 years old when the first one came out. I think in 2001.
Right. Yeah.
I was born that year. So yeah.
Well, there we go.
What a way to make me feel old, Connor. Oh, jeez.
But they're very good. They're actually really good. And it was several different directors that made them, but it actually served the material well. Like, the guy that made the first few was Chris Columbus, who most famously made a bunch of children's movies. And then they switched to one of the big Mexican directors. I can't remember which one. He made Prisoner of Azkaban, and it was a lot darker and, like, edgier. So it, like, the filmmakers they chose, like, tracked with the tone of the material. And it just worked to make it a coherent whole.
They all kept on the same... They kept on the same composer for all the movies, John Williams.
That's blessed be his name.
King of modern cinema music.
He's still alive and he's already a saint. But this was directed by a guy by the name of William Cameron Menzies. I would describe as kind of the James Cameron of his generation. Very visual, creative, visual genius.
I don't like Avatar. I'm sorry, but I do not like Avatar. It is the most boring and monotonous film ever. I'd rather watch Princess Mononoke or some other anime or animated film, or even Pocahontas.
I like Avatar, and I'd still rather watch Princess Mononoke, but that's just because of Princess Mononoke. But
I have never seen Avatar. I think I'm the last person alive who hasn't seen Avatar.
Yeah, you're like an uncontacted tribe, basically. I'm shocked they haven't chased you down.
Hello?
Let's see.
Hello? Sentinel Island? Yeah. Sentinel Island called Comparison. They want you back.
Yeah. the people of Sentinel Island have seen Avatar, and you haven't somehow.
You would be shocked at the movies I haven't seen. I've never seen Avatar. I've never seen Titanic, although I could probably quote the entire plotline verbatim because of cultural osmosis.
Anyway, this guy, William Cameron Menzies, he actually directed the burning of Atlanta part of Gone with the Wind. Famously had like 17 different directors because it was this like troubled shoot, but he directed that part. He invented the idea of having a production designer. So I guess before that, they didn't just have one person whose job it was to think about the look and tone of a movie. That was him. Scorsese says he's like this underrated genius of film. This movie in particular is considered the top ancestor to 2001: A Space Odyssey. So much so that Arthur Clarke, the author of 2001, had Kubrick watch it while they were making it. Kubrick hated it. However, Frederick Pohl, the sci-fi author, hated 2001 and said that Things to Come was much, much better after he saw 2001. So a little drama happening in the sci-fi community in the 60s there, boys. That's a little inside baseball. Oh, we didn't talk about the socialism. Of course, H.G. Wells was a big roaring socialist, which I guess back then when, factory workers were making 5 cents an hour and getting black lung by age 22, I guess maybe that made more sense.
Well, you don't have the realization of the horror of the Soviet Union, even though that's going on, because most Westerners were like, oh, that's nonsense. That's some type of German or fascist propaganda.
It's communism. We'll all be poor and miserable together.
The book Things to Come was incredibly preachy. So he took all of that out he was told it was far too preachy, so he took all that out for the screenplay, so we won't see that in the movie. Then he was told that the movie was not preachy enough, that it should have talked more about income inequality. So you writers and creatives out there, never listen to criticism, because it's all stupid.
Duly noted.
There's a few predictions made in this film, gentlemen, that we ought to have a quick little discussion of. The conflict in the first act, at least in the book, maybe not in the movie, the conflict in the first act is called the Second World War. Not exactly a Nostradamus moment here. I mean, there were already fears by 1936 of a world war on the horizon.
Yeah, you have a lot of hyperbole about it in the lead up to World War II, and it's very complicated in the lead up to the war.
Technically speaking, the Great War, it wasn't called World War I yet because it was the only one, but it wasn't the first World War that had ever happened in human history. I think actually...
No. Yeah, that's true. Like, the First World War I would consider actual world-spanning conflict would probably be 30 Years' War. And probably the Wars of Succession, the Wars of Spanish Succession and Austrian Succession.
Also known as the French and Indian Wars, which your General Washington started because he couldn't control his native levies.
The aerial bombardment of Everytown, this is directly from Wikipedia, the aerial bombardment of Everytown directly forecasts the Blitz of London from 1940 to 41. Michael Korda reports that when Adolf Hitler saw Things to Come, he instructed Hermann Göring to use it as an inspiration for the Luftwaffe. Contrarily, it inspired Neville Chamberlain's appetite for peace. Wells' work was sometimes blamed as the inspiration for the appeasement policy that led to the Munich Agreement. And I'm gonna sit back and let the sparks fly.
Oh joy, here we go.
Somewhat, you have to remember, before Chamberlain became Prime Minister, you have Stanley Baldwin as Prime Minister in Britain. And he was so hyperbolic about the war to come, and he famously had this horrifying prediction that the bomber will always get through, and that on the first bombing run, that 100,000 people will be killed by it. You have Chamberlain during the negotiations over the Sudetenland crisis, who basically flew back to Britain on what he feared that personally that would be the same path that the German bombers would take to London.
If I remember correctly, Connor, didn't your Air Force, when you were firebombing Tokyo, didn't you kill like somewhere along like 10,000 or 40,000 people in one go?
Yes, but you also have to account for all the people who spontaneously combusted and melted into the pavement.
And also the fact that
it was.
And also the fact that all the buildings were made of literal paper probably didn't help.
General LeMay famously said that it was that Tokyo was a 1,000-year concentration of bamboo, wood, and timber, and thus Roman candle.
I just thought of a joke. What is a historian's relationship status?
What is it?
It's complicated. Always, it's complicated. Wait. I gotta do the Johnny Carson. Yeah, there we go. Last one. A helicopter is also shown in the film before the design had been stabilized. Although the one seen on screen does have a tail rotor, it is not a conventional tail rotor by modern day standards.
Yeah, helicopters were in early development stages.
Right.
They were in their
by
infant.
the time of throughout World War II, and you don't really see them till like they fully finished off until like the later part of the war into Korea.
Yeah, I was aware that Germans had at least one working helicopter in the Luftwaffe, and they also had like I won't say like a proper helicopter, but like a helicopter kite that the some U-boats carried. Didn't have an actual motor. All they just do is they just tow it behind them like a kite, and the air current would make the rotor go. Mark Felton did a video on that. Insert the chat link here.
Another thing about this movie is that Arthur Clarke pointed out that Wells would have been aware of rocket power by the time of this story was written, but he uses Jules Verne's space gun to go into space, which I don't know if he thought that people didn't know enough about rockets yet, they wouldn't accept it or whatever, that the space gun would seem more realistic to 1930s readers/viewers. I don't know, but that's what he chose.
What's this space gun?
Did you ever read War of the Worlds, Connor?
Not really.
Nope. Spoiler alert. Basically, instead of using rocket ships instead of the Martians using rocket ships to get to Earth, they basically point a giant cannon at us and fire away.
Yeah, so the thing that people are riding in isn't powered itself. Just all the propulsion just comes from the gun on the surface, and then they just shoot you.
So it's kind of like the Halo series or Warhammer 40K's drop pods.
Well,
They're
that
basically just plummeting into atmosphere at high speeds in a little metal coffin, in a little metal thing that's just there, like shaking, and you're all like.
Brings up a good question: is how you stop.
Gravity.
The only thing you stop is when you hit the ground.
I guess how do you stop without hitting the ground with that much force? But I guess the answer is you hit the ground with that much force. Yeah.
You don't.
Gotcha.
You just put them with, like, engines or small little micro thrusters to adjust where you're landing, but
I see.
Not really.
The Martians in the War of the Worlds just basically were inside of artillery shells, essentially, that got shot to Earth. That once they got there, they unscrewed at the back and they crawled out. Probably their heads ringing like bells because they literally just got shot out of a cannon from one planet to another.
How would that have actually taken if they actually did that realistically?
I think in the book it took them about a couple days. They see the flash on Mars, and then a couple of days later, oh look, something just smacked into the Earth over there. It's a cylinder. Oh, what do you mean? There's a bunch of other flashes. It's a novel from 1904, 07, early part of the 20th century, Connor. It's not exactly that accurate.
I think you would just be soup.
Oh, I'm wrong.
Like you would just be chunky salsa. Technology can't violate physics. I mean, it can in some stories, but it sounds like in that one they were trying to be kind of hard sci-fi. So yeah, you'd be soup inside. That would not work at all. Whatever. It's 100 years old. Who cares?
Yeah, you would just basically be akin to this my Gatorade.
Yes, exactly.
Bloody smear within this containment unit.
Yeah.
Are you sure this isn't London? It looks like London. I mean, there's the St. Paul Cathedral in the background.
It's not supposed to be London. I have no doubt that much of it was filmed in London.
Is this supposed to be like our current filming where whenever we went to New York, we do Toronto?
Yes, exactly. It's 100%, yes.
Yeah. Well, I'll have you know that Toronto's a lot cleaner than New York City.
Yeah.
We don't have as big as rat. We don't have a big rat problem that you guys have down there.
Probably true. This is intended to evoke Americana, I think.
Let's see how many transatlantic accents we can hear.
Exactly, yeah. Nothing more Americana than talking like that.
Europe is what?
Is arming.
It is actually arming now as we speak.
Yeah.
Well, what's new is old again, or what's old is new again.
Planet's got to have its big dust up every 70, 80 years, I guess.
Sure,
we're overdue for one.
Well, think about it, I would suggest for historians, if you want to find a really good historical book to read, read The Fourth Turning.
Mm.
It's a really good book about American history.
Oh, I should look it up.
But it was written in the 90s, and which it states that like America has always had like every 80 years a new crises.
Hmm.
Here, Snickers. You always get angry when you're hungry.
Yes.
Here, have a pouch of tobacco. You always get like this when you don't smoke your joint. And we have the number one cause of all house fires around Christmas time, right in the background.
Talking, of course, of the old guy. Symbolism. Wonder if all these
I'm
new
old
toys
enough to remember
are
when this was sci-fi.
No kidding.
I'm old enough to remember when this was sci-fi. Connor, you will never know the joys of a VCR machine. Or joy of cable TV.
And I don't think
that's true.
I don't think the movie's treating Passworthy as a fool there. I think that's a legitimate point. Yeah.
Nothing. There'll always be war. Consider the fact that we are the cockroaches of sentient life. We create new and better ways to kill each other, and yet we still go on. And there are more people nowadays than there were ever have been in the past, right? Like 8-9 billion of us?
Heading that way, yeah.
8 billion, but who knows if that's actually the real estimate, because
Well, right.
one of the things I've heard is that China is actually bloating its numbers and that they're fake.
China fudging its books. Are you sure about that? I wouldn't believe Winnie the Pooh if he told me sky was blue and water was wet. I'd still go and check.
What slander that is to Winnie the Pooh.
That is true.
I hope
Winnie.
I hope the estate of A.A. Milne is very offended by that.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I know China just outright banned Winnie the Pooh because of those jokes.
Of course,
Emperor Xi Jinping can't take a joke.
A.A. Milne hated Winnie the Pooh because he thought he was like a serious playwright. And that was just a dumb story he made up for his kid.
Battleship Dinosaur, did it say?
So that's what he said.
Who needs a I mean, Battleship T-Rex, Battleship Allosaur, Battleship Giganotosaurus, like an Battleship Dinosaur? My inner paleontologist is a little bit offended. Gas.
Kind of a big deal back then, I guess.
The nuclear deterrent before nuclear bombs.
Right.
What were you saying about the war not showing up here, sir?
He's got to throw it in his face right away.
National Defense Act. Notice I can't read that.
Yeah, what do you say now?
Notice.
What do you say now, Passworthy, you big idiot?
Over there. Actually, over here. Here. Did they ever say who's fighting who in this? Or
They did not. They Top Gunned it. It's very vague.
yeah. So the not Russians are fighting the not Americans, or the not Nazis fighting the. Actually, no. This movie. Oh, never mind. I won't say it.
Let's just say the Huns. The vague Huns.
Hated Germans. Or shall we use the French word, the Boche?
The Boche. Le Boche are coming.
I feel like we're going to see that Sanderson sign again later after like a time jump or something. They keep focusing on it. Sorry, Harrison, what were you saying?
I wonder what the MS on his armband stands for.
Oh, no.
Gonna be an MP, military police?
No, it was MS.
Military something.
Yeah. Military security?
Right. Oh, there you go. Do you guys get kind of a Goebbels vibe from that guy?
Slightly,
Like
but I have seen.
It's got that like
I have seen
scarecrow
him in
physique.
other.
Oh.
I've seen this guy in several other movies. I just can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. He was in the Santa Fe Trail alongside Errol Flynn.
Oh.
Yeah, he played John Brown.
Oh. Huh.
You mean John Brown, the
The
Butcher of
abolitionist?
Kansas?
abolitionist?
Yep, the John Brown, the architect of Bloody Kansas, and who did
Well,
who
not
did Errol Flynn
necessarily.
play?
The real architect of it was the people who wanted to build a railroad through Kansas and decide on popular sovereignty.
Yeah, Errol Flynn played Jeb Stewart in that movie.
Ah,
Yeah, maybe that'll be a future Wild West Wednesday episode.
sure.
Oh, here's your thing that made you want to watch this movie.
The shot from this movie that I said, holy cow, this director's cooking. We gotta see the rest of this thing.
Get your gas masks here. Get your gas masks. One per person. Get your gas masks. Get them while they're hot.
I assume they didn't show the bombers for like budgetary or effects reasons, but I think it's kind of effective to not show them. Actually, it's like almost scarier, you know, like you can only hear them.
Yeah. It's probably for the best. Like, think about it.
Yeah.
It's like they're the very insidious monster.
Right.
They're like in Dunkirk. You don't see the Germans until right at the very end of the movie, and they're just this looming presence in the background.
Yes.
No,
Just
that's also because
death.
the German army was given a halt order from the mustache man himself.
I see.
Which, had he actually given the order for them to attack, I don't think the British army would have escaped.
Yes,
It also
Dunkirk
just
was
kinda makes me think of the movie The Mothman Prophecies, where like the Mothman only appears once. He's just an overarching thing throughout the whole film.
So much for their prediction that the air raid would be light and not so serious.
Whoops.
About that. What did the not Luftwaffe send over the entire fleet? Like, yes,
Well, we
that
don't know
one
if it is
town.
the Luftwaffe.
Well,
Could be. See, if this is supposed to be America, maybe it was you Canadians.
Oh, could be.
yeah, that checks. Last time you guys went to war with us, we did smack you pretty hard. Oh no, not the kid.
Oh, they went there in 1935.
They went
They went there.
They went there. They
Dang.
went there, historian. Pour one out for the kid.
Right. Have to assume that like the entire eastern seaboard probably got it right. They're not just like
Nah, just with one. Just like no, one town in particular. Make an example. You see, Air Force. You see that town? Yes, sir. I don't want to. Good. Removing that direction, sir.
what that little bucolic town that looks like a Christmas painting. Why them?
Okay.
What is that? Did you see that?
Those are supposed to
Look-
be tanks. They look like
Yep. Those, hang on, those are the tanks from Star Wars. Insert picture right here. The droid tanks from Episode 3.
Kind
And
of,
those are-
but also not really, because they don't have turrets. They
Exactly.
have a main cannon on them. You just have like a bunch of cannons
They
on the
look
sides.
close enough, Connor. They look close enough to the droid tanks.
Yeah.
Also, I think some of those tanks from earlier had big red dots on them. So we're fighting against the Japanese? Is that it?
Sheesh. If we ever
The
see the
Japanese-
enemy,
Those sneaky Japanese went around the horn and attacked the eastern seaboard. They bypassed Pearl Harbor completely.
just went around the
Oh,
long
we
way.
Around Hawaii
And the
attacked
White Cliffs
West
of New
Coast.
England. The White Cliffs of Dover / New England. And yes, they sent over the entirety. Oh yes, your foreign policy of the last 70 years. That is,
It's supposed to be biplanes.
I think they're supposed to be monoplanes with high
look more-
wings. Oh, hey, the Brits had some biplanes at the Battle of Britain and the Battle of Malta, and they were pulling their weight against monoplanes.
Yeah, wasn't it a biplane that shut down that hit the Bismarck?
Yes,
Okay.
the Swordfish took out its rudder with a torpedo. Here come the sci-fi
Okay.
tanks.
Yes.
More of the assault tanks.
1945.
Ooh.
1955.
Oh, holy smokes. Are we going to get the little girl as an adult now?
What is the Japanese?
It's a
Yeah, they're right. 1960.
coalition of the willing.
So this is what would happen if World War I just kept going forever.
I guess, yeah.
Well, that's what everyone thought was going to happen. That's why they didn't want to. No one wanted to go to war. 19. And why, like, part of the reason why appeasement happened because no one wanted another war. And like,
National
the
Bulletin.
war,
September the
were
21st,
big warmongers.
1966. The end is in sight. Victory is coming. They've been saying that for 40 years. The enemy is near the
Was
breaking
that
point.
1984?
Nope, 1966. 1966. They are using to spread the wandering sickness, a new fever of mind and body. Avert silos where bombs have fallen. Do not drink stagnant water.
Good advice.
So they finally said, screw it, we are going down, we're going to go the biological warfare route.
Yeah. What has happened in World War II had Churchill actually used chemical weapons. Germans had a massive stockpile of agents that was not found until after the war.
It's beginning to look like Fallout 4 in here. In the wake of war and social breakdown, a strange and terrible pestilence, the wandering sickness, spreads, unchecked throughout the world.
The
Gas of peace? They're gonna fentanyl gas them. Oh, it's the Russian Moscow theater all over again.
It's like, otherwise known as weed smoke.
Again, the Hill State. Wait, they were fighting against the Welsh earlier then.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think it's in England.
He just said that you're talking about the Mediterranean
French
earlier.
coast.
That's true.
Yeah, French coast.
Okay.
And they're talking about how in Basra, so I think they're building civilization again in the Fertile Crescent.
All right. I stand corrected. That does make more sense.
Tell that to the gigantic flying machine.
A gigantic bird-looking thing that kind of makes you think of a stealth bomber.
Yeah.
Yep. That drops eggs.
Eggs of peace.
Weed smoke.
Yes.
Cannabis.
If it was just eggs, that'd be so great.
Are they prepping to do the YMCA?
Well, they couldn't do the one-arm salute. I think.
I don't think it's a French salute, but it looks like they're going about to do the YMCA.
Hail Hydra! That's what I get from it.
He's kind of dressed like a member of the Village People, so.
Yeah. Here comes the. Holy shit.
Look at the size of that sucker.
It's like the Winnebago in Spaceballs or something.
Makes me think of the what was it that the Germans had designed? The
America bomber?
229? No, not the America bomber, but the Euro
Oh, you mean
bomber.
the that thing that could fly around with the miniature tank in its gut, and they open it up like a
No, the thing that looks kind of like the stealth bomber that the U.S. currently uses.
Horton 229. The Horton 229.
Yeah.
Scramble, scramble, scramble. I bet good money half of those planes just crash on the runway as they're taking off.
Yeah, it looks
I mean,
like
look at that one.
of them
Yeah, they're struggling to get off the ground. This is how I picture the war with North Korea will look like.
Yeah.
All their MiG-15s and MiG-21s like trying to get off the ground but can't, and you guys are just sitting up there with your B-52s going, oh, ain't that cute?
I mean, the stealth bomber.
Eh.
Sounds too utopian to me.
I don't like the idea of...
It also kind of sounds like okay, I'm blanking on the book. It was a book written during like the 1770s. Oh yeah, the year 1940, I think it was.
I was just looking at that the other day. Yeah, and I know what you're talking about.
So they're planning on creating a one world government.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure that
well.
it never goes well because
nightmare.
Yeah, and also there are several ethnicities that actively despise each other. Ethnicities, religions, philosophies that actively despise each other. It's never going to work.
Mm.
We like killing each other too much for it to ever happen. Human nature defies it.
They're kind of building a technocracy here.
All it takes is a little John Hurt looking guy to give a good speech, and everybody will get on the same page.
Yeah.
I said, I wonder how big these miniatures are in comparison to, like, everything else.
It's a good question.
Probably not that big.
They're clearly like green screening several effects, which are very good effects, I must say. But
yeah, they definitely had forced perspective under wraps at this point. So hard to say how big they actually are.
I'm still trying to figure out what killed the boss earlier. Was it the gas? Was he over? So they pulled a Moscow theater fentanyl. Comrade, we have gassed everyone in the theater. Unfortunately, of the 1,300 people that were in here, about a couple hundred did pick up. But we got the terrorists. What do you mean I'm going to go? I did exactly what I was told to do.
Maybe it's like a side effect of the gas, where it's basically like, for those who don't want to fight against it, who don't succumb to it, it kills them.
Well, and it was the gas of peace, so, and he was not a very peaceful man. Maybe that's part of where we're going with it.
Well, wouldn't you be if some faction came over the hill and said, hey, guess what? We don't believe in independent states. We don't believe in personal ownership of anything, and you now belong to us. Wouldn't you resist rather strenuously?
Probably.
I mean, I would.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Now, how did they keep this level of technology up if everyone else is Fallout 4 levels of technology?
Well, not necessarily Fallout level. Like, think about it. The NCR, by the time of, like, New Vegas has aircraft and air production. They kind of returned to a semi-pre-war state.
Yeah, but these guys have gone well beyond it at this point.
Think about it. Societies do that. Like, think about it. The Enclave, like being the most evil faction in Fallout, or even the Institute, have advanced technology that wasn't even possible before the pre-war. Because you have all these scientists who are operating in controlled environments. So who's to say these aren't like these people who developed all this technology aren't like a enclave of the best and brightest, so forth.
It's Galt's Gulch from Atlas Shrugged, basically.
Oh no, they're not building commie blocks, are they?
It looks like it.
Oh no, what? 2036, every town.
Well,
what do you have against brutalist architecture, sir? How dare you?
It has no soul.
Because it's soulless.
That is the soul. The soullessness is the soul.
That's an oxymoron, if ever I heard one.
Yeah.
All right. We live in paradise now.
No. Why does it look like you're living in a desk drawers?
Because they are. Humanity has living...
What we see in Andor on Coruscant. Or should I say Imperial Center?
Future historian editing this put up the meme of the 90s McDonald's and the modern McDonald's that looks like a dentist office.
What? Who's the statue? I mean, they didn't have any light inside it. Do these people not understand the concept of a light bulb?
Well, like all periods, there's myths of history.
Right.
Like I'm starting to either story and know some of the myths about the Roman Empire. There's some myths about the Roman Empire, isn't there?
Of course. Of course.
I would
I
say the
guess
most
so.
uncomfortable chair of all.
Say it again?
That chair he's sitting on looks so uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But the thing I said about that beforehand was about there's myths about history.
Of course.
Isn't there a historian?
Uh,
Like, what's a big myth about the Roman period? Seeing as you're a Roman expert on Roman history.
oh, God. Where do you
Romulus and
start?
Remus.
The lead pipes, that's a myth. Nero fiddling, that's a myth, of course. Them using maps to navigate, that's another. I mean, I don't know if people just assume that much, but it could go on and on.
Wasn't-
But
What about like
Romulus,
I thought
Romulus and
gladiators-
Remus,
there you go. Yeah,
all gladiators fighting to the death.
right.
Like they were racehorses. You don't.
Well,
You don't.
I was thinking about it as like what we think of the decadent period of Rome is really when it became the height of Christianity.
Yes. Who were famously a bit prudish. That guy's bathrobe looks pretty comfy, though. I have to say.
So this is the great grandson of the guy we saw at the beginning.
Right. And the name Oswald has come back into fashion in the 2030s, so look out for it.
I guess they are using it because it didn't fall out of favor because of Oswald Mosley at the time in Britain.
Actually, I think this. I
Insert
think
image of
Oswald Mosley
Mosley.
liked this movie, didn't he? Because this is kind of this movie is kind of infamous for being what semi what's the word I'm looking for? Semi-fascist propaganda.
That would surprise me if so. I know H.G. Wells certainly wouldn't have liked that characterization.
Well, this was around This was made in 1936, and this is around the time where fascism was on the rise in Europe, and it wasn't
Well-
seen as the abhorrent ideology that we know it is today.
True.
Well, then again, you have to remember, mostly like most Britons don't want war. They believed in peace. He was a champion of peace.
I see capes have come back into fashion.
Yes, finally.
Well, capes were still in style in the 1930s. Most people wore cloaks.
Yeah, but this is
But that
2036.
cloaks were like officers.
Only 10
So-
more years to wait, boys.
11. This is 2036. This is 2025.
Good point.
Wait, no, I lie. It's 10 years, 6 months.
Kind of look like Jedi.
I was about to say that.
That's 100%. What else did you guys say was from Star Wars? The tanks. All right,
Yeah,
all right.
That's what Harrison said.
All right, Lucas.
Yeah.
We see you. We see you.
I would think they're kind of wrong in this about progress because progress is in a direct line. It goes up, it goes down, it changes.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I think kind of the point of the film is the discussion of the tension, right? Like from the very first Christmas scene, we had the old man saying, "Oh, these new toys are so complex," or whatever. You know, it's kind of the yeah.
Think of it. 90 years from now, we'll be sitting around our living rooms with our children, great-grandchildren, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren, what have you. Like, oh, when I was your age, Sonny, we had these phones
Yeah.
around here.
It wasn't
We
just
didn't have
implanted in our brains.
holograms and teleportation devices. I don't know why I'm talking in a southern accent. I just am.
Harrison's gonna move to Mississippi in a couple years, apparently.
Oh, heck no. The heat. I'm a cold weather creature. I couldn't survive the humidity.
Yeah.
Also, the mosquitoes and the wild pigs and the alligators and the Cajuns. No offense to Cajun. I just can't understand a single word you're saying without subtitles.
Sure. Oh, sweet. And it makes a Jetsons car noise? It's all-
Well, the Jetsons had to get this sound effect from somewhere, I guess.
That's right.
So is this city all underground? I think.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
And what's on the surface? Just paradise and oh wait, I lied. It looks like there is some construction above ground. The space gun.
This would be our gun, yes.
You should imagine the battleship that came off of.
I know.
Well, it isn't a battleship. They made it.
I know, but can you imagine just put that thing horizontal, put it in a turret? How big would the ship be that would have to carry it?
Star Destroyer?
Probably
Star
would be
more
the
like.
size of the Star Destroyer itself.
Yeah.
Imperial 1 or Imperial 2?
Both are relatively the same size, so it'd probably be the whole starship.
I thought the Imperial 2 was a little bit longer than the Imperial 1.
Oh.
Also, they're worried that that angry mob was going to break up that gun with crowbars. What is that thing made out of paper?
Components of it.
Oh, it's a muzzle loader too. Not very advanced, these people. You'd think they would have come up with a breech loading system.
Right.
Also, this thing going off would probably be like the sonic boom would kill everything within 100 miles.
Yeah.
You know, I think my dad was actually in BC the day Mount St. Helen went off, and he heard it go off.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's in the south of the state, if I'm recalling correctly. So.
Yeah, he was in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And where exactly is Mount St. Is it which state? Is it,
Washington.
Washington State.
Yeah. Towards the south, though, I believe. Never been there myself, though I lived there for many years.
Yeah. Now, is it Washington? Portland's in between Washington and East. Wait, I lie.
You can see
my American.
You can see Mount St. Helens from Portland, so it's definitely in the south side of the state.
It's just a big bullet, Connor. I don't see any rockets, any control thrusters.
Yeah, no propulsion at all. Yeah.
They're gonna fire it, slingshot around the moon, and come back. You know, this is reminding me of a story I heard from the Soviet Union. They were testing this new missile design, and there was a gas leak on one of the fuel gauges, and the head researcher went down to go repair it himself. Unfortunately, one of the technicians saw a blinking light on the control panel, and I wonder what this does. Boom.
I guess I better press it and find out. Yeah.
Wonder how many people got outright annihilated with that blast. Or they're not going to show it.
Right.
Because everything is peaceful and perfect now.
He's so contradictory. I don't even know what to say.
What is the contradiction? Point it out for us.
Well, think about it. They want to end human barbarism, but he wants to end all the wars and conquests. And yet he's talking of conquering the stars, conquering the universe. And I'm like,
the Imperium of Man must rise for the Emperor.
I hear what you're saying. He's talking about conquering undiscovered country, I guess. Right? Am I taking that wrong? Like, he's not talking about going and conquering aliens. Like,
yeah. Or conquering, I don't know, everything and doing, is he the Emperor of Mankind from 40K?
At last, we see what he was like as a human. Yes.
I heard a rumor that the Emperor was actually Conan, but we'll get into that later.
Yes. Story for another time. Fellas,
fan theory.
What did you think of Human Progress, the theme, the movie?
For 1936, it was very well shot.
Looks beautiful, but I would still say again, progress is not a straight line. It goes up and down. Things change. People react to progress, and you can see that. And it stalls. There isn't progress as a direct line. Like, think about it. People where the Enlightenment may have happened, but it didn't influence people for years to come. It seeped into the Parisian society, into societies in cities and such. You have very much a disconnect between cities and the countryside.
Yeah.
Makes me think of my first video with you guys on Bonanza.
Yes.
The conflict between the rural country life and industrialization.
I mean, this movie didn't even really tell a contiguous story per se. It's got a thematic through line, obviously, and that's, I guess, kind of what H.G. Wells wanted of it. That's what his book was this sort of discussion about humanity versus progress. Are we losing humanity because we're progressing too quickly?
I kind of felt like 4 different episodes of something all put together in one movie. You have the pre-war part,
Yeah.
you have the wandering illness disease stuff, and then you have Bell taking power and launching the world conquest, and then you have the space gun.
Yes, which feels a little tacked on, but it's connected thematically to the rest of it. I hate to overuse the word, but
Like, it's 4 different things that I feel like just are put together in one movie. Yeah, it kind of seems so unrealistic. Sounds like extreme World War II old history
yeah.
of Wolfenstein.
Fair to say it's an anthology, kinda, featuring characters who are related, which are kind of 4 meditations on the theme of progress versus, I don't even know what to call the other side. Nostalgia for the past? I mean, what would you even...
Tradition
what would you call it?
or...
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
way, or
traditionalist.
past.
Yeah.
Tradition, yeah.
They relegate it to, like, I would say it's pretty much their echoing the idea of Trotsky when he famously said that you shall be thrown to the dustbin of history when he criticized other socialists for challenging him. That's the feeling I get. Like, they're wanting to, like, paint all the wars and all the other stuff as, like, oh, you will be relegated to the dustbin of history. A wastebasket, a trash can, or what have you.
First time I've ever actually seen this movie in its entirety. I've seen tiny bits and pieces of it throughout, like, over the past 20 years, but never seen it in its entirety. And what would I rate this movie? What would I give this movie score? I would give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars.
I think that's where I'd fall down. I'd be 3 or 3.5 out of 5, I would say.
In terms of, like, the story. In terms of the special effects, I give that 4 stars.
Yeah, definitely. That sequence at the end with the Mall of America that they live in, yeah, really the highlight, I guess. But sorry, Connor, go ahead.
I would say that I like the pre-war part. I agree with that. The second part of, like, the plague into the totalitarian warlordisms, I respect, because I kind of think that, okay, that's a post-apocalyptic thing that's bound to happen where you have warlord states. But the end just made me think Brave New World, like, especially after the gas of peace. Gas of peace.
Keep everybody docile, right? Yeah. This is a weird comparison, but
kind of
How has no one ever abused the gas of peace? Like, oh, I'm going to seize power. I'm going to put yes men in charge, and I'm going to ensure that my family line controls this for the rest of time. And if anyone objects, gas of peace, knock them out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, I hope you enjoyed our review of things to come from 1936. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Links to my channel and Historian's main channel down to the description down below. And remember, if your honor is insulted, draw steel and defend yourself. Make swords great again, gentlemen. That's all I have to say.
all right, be good, y'all. Peace out.